though, that I absolutely must recognize. They are my heroes. One is Lynn Stewart. The other is Luke Rutkowski. Yes, stand up, Luke. He's with 911 Truth. People all over the world have been repulsed by the pictures that they have seen of what's taking place in Gaza, with the white phosphorus, the cluster bombs, the bunker busters, the tanks, all of this, of course, aided and abetted by our own government. But the world is speaking out, and even inside, as well as inside Israel, but inside the United States, we are also beginning to speak out. The wall of silence is crumbling. There is a very real disconnect between our values and the values of the special interests that have captured Washington, D.C. So, if the special interests can have a lobby in Washington, D.C., then I think that the people of this country ought to have a lobby in Washington, D.C. too. Now, that lobby is supposed to be our representatives whom we elect to represent our values. But something has happened. So I had these t-shirts made that say, "Dignity, a movement for peace and justice." And I propose that dignity become the people's lobby in Washington, D.C. Now, I've had these run-ins with AIPAC, and I know AIPAC very well. But AIPAC didn't really know me. They thought that they could kick me out of Congress one time and I would go and hide under a rock. I decided to run for Congress again and I won. So, I didn't stop doing what I was doing the first time, so they kicked me out of Congress again. And then I got on a boat called Dignity and decided to go to Gaza. Now, one of the co-founders of the Free Gaza movement called me maybe one day or so after the aerial bombardments of Gaza began, with as many as 250 sorties in one day. And he said, "Cynthia, would you like to go to Gaza tomorrow?" So I had 24 hours to decide whether or not I was going to risk my life on a pleasure boat. It didn't take me 5 minutes to say yes. How could I say yes rather easily? It was because I come from really strong stock. And I know what my own government did to Marcus Garvey. I know what my own government did to Paul Robeson. I know what my government did to Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. I know what my government is capable of doing. And even despite the fact that the entire weight of the United States government was arrayed against all of these people, they didn't stop. They kept going. And so how could I cower in a moment of fear and say, "No, I am not going to go"? So I got on the boat. It's a wonderful pleasure boat, 66-foot boat. And of course, I'm not a boater. I'm not even a swimmer. I don't even know how to put the life jacket on. And so we're out there in the sea, and all of a sudden, the Israeli warships, there were 3 of them, and they began to follow us. And they trained their spotlights on the boat. And they would come up really close, and then they would fall back. And we think, well, we're safe now. And then they'd come up really close again, and then they'd fall back. And then they came up really close, and then all of a sudden, it went pitch dark. We're in international waters, and all of a sudden, we all are flying everywhere. The boat had been rammed 3 times, twice in the front, 1 on the side where I was sitting. There had been no contact at all from the Israeli Navy until after the ramming, and then they called us terrorists and said that we were engaged in subversive activity. We had 3 tons of medical supplies on our boat. They lied and said that our captain was trying to outmaneuver them and crashed into them, and that their warship was damaged by our pleasure boat. And incredibly, CNN had placed a journalist, a real journalist, on the boat with us, and he is, in the midst of all of this, I hear him arguing with CNN because CNN wants to tell the Israeli disinformation rather than tell the story that he wants to report. That's what CNN did. And so, unbeknownst to the Israelis, we have not only the facts of our witness, but we also have the Al Jazeera tapes. Legal action is being prepared now against Israel for what they did to the dignity. We have an opening now to tell the greater American public the truth about the activities of our government, what goes on in our name with our tax dollars, and how we can stop it. And the one thing that I would ask of the Congress and of our president-elect is that we don't need to send not one more dime and not one more bomb to Israel. And the final thing I would say is if the members of Congress can't represent us, then we will become the members of Congress with our dignity